All
right. Wednesday it is.
It's that time again. What is this, episode 4?
This is episode 4, man. You believe that? That's crazy.
Man, weeks are just barreling by.
So I'm going to try and get us onto Insta, see if that works again, because we had quite a bit of people watching us on Instagram. So let's get this rolling before we start the show up.
Let's go.
I can't believe this is episode 4.
I know, and what you're going to talk about today is wild, because for years we've been talking about, hey, everybody, look over here. Now it's like, what's going on?
Yep. All right, let us see what we can do. Remove this stream. We're gonna get it. Instagram.
All right, we live on Instagram. We are live on Built Different Group. Shout out to everybody on Built Different Group, all the Green Bag supporters. It's the usual suspects here again on episode 4 with your smoke stream, baby.
Smoke stream it is. Let's see if we can go live here. All right. Yes, we're good.
Oh, we're live on IG?
We're live on IG. So 5:02. We're waiting for our guests to show up. We don't really worry too hard about our guests showing up on time all the time. This is a spur of the moment thing. I contacted our boy a few days ago and was like, "Hey, can you hop on?" He's like, "Yeah, man, I'm about it." So let's see what we got going on for today. Is cannabis about to be illegal? Let's get into this. All right, welcome to the Smoke Stream, episode 4. And this is a big one. This is important. This is near and dear to me. This should be near and dear to you. It should be really, 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 really important to you folks. So before we get into it, BG, how's it going, man? How's your week going?
Be sharing with here today as he talks about from a cultivator standpoint. I'm giving you my takes from a veteran standpoint on some great information that Bob's got to share with y'all today. But I'm great, man. Weather's good up here. It's been kind of on and off, but you know what I mean? Making some moves, man. We got some things coming up here this fall in the Pacific Northwest, but I'm excited to learn what you got to share with everybody today, because if you are in the growing game, if you're a cultivator, you need to pay attention.
Yeah, and I know some folks are looking at this, the title of this and saying to themselves, "Hey, man, is this what kind of clickbait is this?" It's not clickbait. It's not clickbait.
Speed bait, baby.
You'll understand it here in a moment, because it's a really scary thing, and we're gonna try and paint the whole picture for you folks, to make sure that we can put this across clearly. But before we do that, let's make sure we got someone poking around backstage, I think. There he is. Omari's in the house. What's up, man?
Family? How's everybody doing?
Doing good. How's it going, man?
Man, fantastic. I'm happy to join y'all again. Happy to see y'all again.
Yeah, man, we had a great time.
Omari.
We got a lot of good. I got a lot of good feedback about the last show that you were on, which was great, man. They enjoyed hearing from you, and again, it really just brings validity to everything, man. When you got somebody that's in the business and obviously connected to me with good chemistry, so it's just good to have you. I'm glad you showed up, man. I was a little worried. I'm not, and if you didn't show up today, I would not have cared. It would have not have been a big deal. But I'm like, I think this guy's in traffic or something right now.
That's it. Just some Denver 225 traffic. But hey, I'm happy to be here, and we're gonna get going. I see you got it, Jay. BG, what you smoking on?
Oh man, I am on this lemon shortbread run right now, and it's Freddy's Fuego lemon shortbread. I don't know if you guys have heard of Scored, SKORD. But man, that was probably the most beautiful lemon bread flower. I shared a photo of it on Instagram in my story here the other day. But yeah, I'm stuck on this lemon shortbread strain, baby. It's off the chain.
Hey.
Oof, man. So what is that? It's got to have lemon skunk in it, right? So
Yeah,
you're going to talk. It's at least a hybrid.
Yeah, lemon skunk and cinnamon.
Oh shit!
Ooh,
yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
I was smoking some coconut. I got some Kokomo Breeze right now. Since I'm on that sativa tip now, I'm trying not to fall asleep in the middle of a podcast. So I've got a little bit of a Dolado sprinkled in there too, man. Just to remind me that I'm still an indica guy. But that's what I'm puffing on. Amar, you got anything? I know you're not smoking probably, but you got something near you?
I mean, I got my Apple Coyote disposable from GC, but I also got some kiwi sour that is already crushed up and in the volcano for the Knicks game. You already know.
Knicks. Hey, who you got? Knicks or Spurs? You going for the
Knicks?
Let's
go Spurs, baby. Let's go Spurs.
Yeah, what a crazy series that is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, you're gonna need that. You're gonna need that smoke, man. That series is gonna be crazy, dude. But yeah, so it's a big deal, folks, and we're just gonna jump into it right now. I'm sure everybody's wondering what's going on. I completely forgot that we had the comment section popping up, so we got to say what's up. B-Mac saying what's up.
B-Mac, what up, baby?
Eric B is in the house. Make him clap to this. What's up, Eric B? Good to see you,
Eric
brother.
B, what up, baby?
Jalen Luke's in here.
What up, Jalen?
Got quite a few people that got it's actually the BDG's popping right now, man. So it's good to see. Real good to see.
Yeah,
shout out all them green badges, baby. Make sure y'all raise the bar, hit like, and share the video. Let's help this audience grow here. These two gentlemen got some great information, especially if you're in a legal state where you are choosing or you currently are looking forward to growing your own cannabis.
Yeah, so I'm gonna give you a real quick story. Back in 2020, when we were all sitting in our houses growing beards and hair too long, I had this idea that I'm gonna finally take that plunge into indoor growing. I have been growing outdoors my entire life up to that point. I think I maybe picked up like a couple clones from Pharmaceuticals or something in the neighborhood, Omari, and they just didn't work out. They were horrible. They didn't do anything. And so finally I was like, I'm going to focus on this. So I did a little bit more studying. I went to some Ed Rosenthal books. I went back and really like rethought about everything. And then I said to myself, okay, well, I've got my tent. I've got everything I need, my humidifier. I've got my in air, out air. Where am I going to get my seeds? I just so happened to have an old seed pack from Nirvana Seeds, and this is 2020, and that seed pack was from 2016. I had not even opened it, and I said, well, I've got seeds, I might as well try it out. And boom, Aurora Indica happened. They grew beautifully. They grew really, really well, and that's when I hooked up with Seedsman. So I started saying to myself, all the cannabis I couldn't find a good chemistry anymore. Bubba Kush, Cinderella 99, Northern Lights, any of that old school stuff that predates basically cookies, cakes, runts, anything with the Skittles in it of any kind. All that old school stuff I couldn't find anymore. And it's not so much because Good Chem wasn't looking for it. It's because nobody was looking for it. They started going to what people were going for because that's how businesses run. So folks were able to get the good new strains, but still maybe get a couple old school ones every now and then. But I wasn't seeing them with much frequency. So I basically became an ambassador with Seedsman and hooked up with them. And they started throwing me freebies for every batch I bought. And I right now have I'd say at least over 250 different strains and probably 5 to 10 seeds of every one of them. And I put myself in a position to grow in a legal state for as long as I wanted to. And I thought that would last forever because in 2018, they said seeds are legal. They're no longer illegal. Did you hear? You guys heard about that? You remember that, Mari?
Yep, the Farm Bill.
Yeah, the Farm Bill, they said, all right, it's cool, man. That's all this seed doesn't mean cannabis until you grow it. And they were really intelligent about it. And we were like, this is going to be great forever. Well, come to find out, September of last year, they decided to sneak a little bit of verbiage into that same Farm Bill. And they decided, let's go ahead and pop this up. They decided that they didn't want to basically let us have seeds much anymore. So effective November 13th, 2025, Congress fundamentally rewrote the laws governing hemp. Buried within that is basically saying that if you have a seed, you are in possession of a cannabis seed that will produce a plant higher than 0.3% THC. Now, Say that again in your mind, folks, because we were talking 2 weeks ago about going crazy over 30% THC plants and all this good shit.
Right.
And they're talking about a 0.3 limit to the possibility of your seed growing into a plant that's going to do anything bigger than that. So basically what that means is it's going to be extremely hard for the average person to be able to get their hands on seeds to start growing, because if those seeds happen to be intercepted or they find out you're buying these seeds, however that may go, you will be charged with trafficking. Trafficking is now the charge for getting seeds brought into this country after September of this year. So I don't know exactly what we're going to do. This really was me just trying to get this information out to you folks. I know that there's possibilities where laws happen and we can go and talk to our senators and we can talk to our mayors and all this stuff. I don't know how we can change this right now, but there is a gray area. The gray area is this. There's not only one way to grow cannabis. You don't need to just have a seed. You can also have a clone. You can also get, what was it? I want to say tincture, but there's two other versions that you can get of cannabis to still grow.
Cultures.
Yeah, the cultures. Thank you so much. I did not know where I could pop that word up. Thank you so much.
Teamwork, baby.
Damn cultures, man. So cultures and clones are the two ways. Now, that's not written into that law. And I'm also terrified that since I just said it, some dude's going to be like, let's put this shit into the law.
Right.
So at the same time, for right now, that's still a gray area. But that doesn't help a lot of people, because if you're in a non-legal state, the chances of you finding a clone or a culture are nil. No one's going to want to pass that on to you because they're afraid to go to go to prison. But the other part of that is that if you are a legal state that has dispensaries, those dispensaries will still be able to buy their seeds from a legal person, whoever they get it from. And I don't know any of that, but if it was a legal dealer or a legal distributor of those seeds, they can still do that. So right now, it's not necessarily so dire where you're not able to get the cannabis that you want. But I'm definitely thinking that the frequency and the strength of these plants is going to start going down. So, the table is open. Omar, you got anything to say about that, man?
Man, it feels like an overreach. I think one of the things in reading that was interesting was it specified like 0.03 or 0.3, including THCA, which was the loophole I think everything kind of got going with. I think some of the things I'm going to find interesting is like, what's going to stop somebody from baiting and switching? You know, buying THC seeds from low THC seeds from a legit source, and then planting normal seeds and saying, this is what I bought. I also wonder.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, see what I mean? And I also wonder what states without legal cannabis, I wonder, like, how are they going to go about testing? Like, if you run into my garden and I say that's hemp and you say that's not, and we're in Indiana, what you gonna do?
Well, I'll tell you what could happen. They put you in jail until they get those test results back. You know, and that's a problem because they're going to sit on their hands for that, for sure. Now, I don't think this law is put into effect because there's this big surge in black market cannabis. It could be. I'm not a state law enforcement officer going out on busts all the time. That's not me. But I can't imagine black markets are huge compared to what before legalization. So I'm cut of the cloth that if it stinks like it is, and the fact that we just got this reclassification put into effect after this law had been passed, but no one really knew about that September law last year. We weren't talking about that. We were not talking about this, and it's only a few months away, and now we are. And it's not just me. There's other really great cannabis folks out there on TikTok and all this talking about it right now, which made me say, "Oh, that's right. I have that on my notes. I haven't brought it up." But it's going to be really, really weird right now. As far as I know, too, if you are already in possession of seeds, so let's say you walk into the police department with 1 million seeds, you're good. It's the fact that you're having to take that from outside of the country or go from state to state, from illegal state to legal state. That's when things are going to start getting a little hairy. I don't understand the end game of this. And I do believe the reclassification and this law are hand in hand because of how now these big corporations like Pfizer can come in and start using the medical cannabis testing and not having to worry about home growers cutting into their profits and all these other things. So
it's interesting you say that. Wasn't there some updates on they're now trying to reverse the law that they passed for medical cannabis research and things like that? I thought I seen something where now they're trying to push back on it and renege on it, so to speak. But yeah, it's a lot of seems like what's going on. But my main question is for veterans, for both of you guys like me, who is a medical card holder in a medical state, for those that can still grow, because you said this law goes in effect in September, right? So if I'm a veteran who has a card and goes into a dispensary, like what is the normal process now? Like, because I got questions, not only for that, because I like, where did the black market, where do those guys get their seeds from? But I mean, as a veteran, when you go into a dispensary and you get that card and now you're eligible to grow based on that state legislation, where do I go get seeds? Is it from the dispensary itself, or how does that work?
So now we're going to start getting into the after effect conversation. So I imagine so. And Omari, I know that you folks were probably thinking about getting into that market in some way. I don't know how this information affects that, because I know for a fact everybody above you probably knows this information we're talking about, right? Which is why it hasn't rolled out yet. But I would imagine if you are a legal dispensary, you will be able to legally probably sell those seeds, since that's not considered like interstate or like international trafficking of any kind.
Trafficking.
That's what I would imagine. I imagine like the state laws would still be respected. It's just more specifically like when I hear this law, I think to myself, like when I went to Indiana, they don't have medical, they don't got rec. But I went into a gas station to buy some to get some gas, and man, they had ounces up there for $30. They had cartridges, and it all said THCA, and so it was like a loophole. And to some degree, I do kind of like the idea of maybe not just letting anybody and everybody push at anything, because if something's not good, if people get sick, how do you hold that accountable? How do you do a recall? Who's overseeing this to make sure that those protections are actually
consumer protection? Exactly.
That's right. And so like, I think from that standpoint, that's the only standpoint where I'm like, I don't know about gas stations having, I don't even trust them with the hot dogs all the time, let alone I'm going to trust you to store my cannabis. I don't know, man. So it's one of those things, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I also don't think, if we're talking about constricting everybody's ability to grow, then business-wise, why would a dispensary sell seeds? Now with this law, it doesn't really seem like the smart thing to do unless you're trying to promote home growing. But if you do that, then you're probably taking a little bit of money out of your pocket. If you're selling a bunch of seeds now, all of a sudden, then you're going to probably see less foot traffic in your dispensary, because 6-8 months from now, when harvest happens, they're harvesting their own cannabis and they're not coming into your store. So I don't really understand how that is going to be affected. And let me ask you this, Omari, do you know where do dispensaries buy their seeds from? You don't need to say we're GC or anybody. Where does that happen? I mean, is there a big legal dealership, or I don't know?
So my understanding of it is a lot of times like master growers will connect personally with people that they know are breeders, so to speak. Like there are just people who specifically like to breed different strains, and then they sell genetics as well. I know there's some guys killing it out of Boulder and things like that. So a lot of people go about it that way. With that being said, there's also still like your Seed Finder and some of the sites like you mentioned as well that people will use. It'll be interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to affect them.
Because I never thought about that. I got a card, but and I know you said, once you get a card for medical card holders that you can grow, I think it's like up to 6 plants. I mean, or something like that. It varies state by state, but yeah, it brings up a good question with what you're talking about. Soon it's going to be like, where do I get seeds?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And
Bob, Bob got all the seeds. Yeah, Bob got the market corner down there in Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, you ain't want to hear my prices, man. They're going to be
yesterday's price ain't today's, huh, Bob?
There you go.
That's what's up. You're exactly right. It's a different day, baby. So yeah, and this is interesting. A little bit of information right here. So according to industry estimates, this could change. This change could affect 95% of the current hemp products on the market, a 13 to 28 billion annual industry, thousands of small businesses and farms, and state hemp programs across the country. So we don't know necessarily if they're saying, okay, you can't buy from everywhere because somewhere in the background, they're starting their own. They're starting their own shops. Maybe this whole thing so that they can do research so they can find out how they can get their hands on the genetics and maybe they're the distributor. I don't know, but I know that seeds already from 2020 to 2022 doubled in price. And 50% of those were available at that point. So when I was able to get in 2020, no problem getting Romulan, getting Panama Red, getting Skunk, getting Grape Ape, all the old school shit. And I was paying $12, $11 to maybe $10 to $11 a seed for that. That jumped to 22 in 2 years because of the demand happened. And now I can't even imagine what's going to happen with the price of seeds. Because I mean, they just kept going up already. So if once you make something illegal, then all of a sudden it starts getting more expensive and, you know, you can't get your hands on it. I'm a little afraid of that for the other folks out there who, you know, for all the folks who are on my channel that watch my channel to learn how to grow. Like, all right, cool. Thanks a lot, Bob. But can you get me seeds? You know, like it's a little hard for me to grow now if I can't get genetics. So I don't know. I know that the dispensaries might not be suffering too much from this, but home growers are definitely going to be hurting from this. I don't know. Did you? I think that's
the biggest thing is home growers that need to pay attention to this or what you're talking about. And that's why I wanted to ask from a veteran standpoint for somebody who has a medical card, you know, where do you get seeds? What are the next steps? Because somebody who's just learning along their way, didn't have a mentor like what I did with you, Bob, to kind of walk me through those steps is, you know, okay, now I want to grow. Like, where do I go get seeds? And then now this is coming. Or do I need to hurry up and buy a whole bunch of fucking seeds? So that way I, you know, don't have access to more seeds or, you know, those are some great questions, especially for veterans that are paying attention. So if you know a veteran in the legal state, please share this video with them, tag them in the comments below. This is information they need to be aware of now.
Mm-hmm. You know, we'd be crazy to think that you know, I Love Growing Marijuana, Seedsman, all these other companies, they've already braced for this to happen. I don't know if they're having sales. I don't know what they're doing right now, but they should be taking advantage of this. And we also need to understand that the chances of you getting what you want right now are probably even slimmer simply because everybody is jumping to get these seeds if they're smart. So I would definitely say if you have a legal way to get seeds right now, buy as many as you can. I have a video on my channel that shows you how to keep them fresh for a minimum of 10 years. And I've got a bunch of seeds that I've already grown from that 10-year hole from before. So if you're worried about keeping them for a long time, I can show you a great, super easy way to do that. You don't have to worry about it. But get them now and put them in a cool state so that you can preserve them until you're ready to pop them, because eventually you're not going to be able to get your hands on them. So I don't know. I'm a little freaked out about all this, man.
I got a question for Amari. Like, how many folks do you see or do y'all deal with on a daily basis out there that actually grow versus the rec customers that come in?
You know, it's interesting. I think at least daily people will say in passing, you know, I got a couple things that's curing or this or that. You might not see me for a while. That's pretty common, I'd say, where people are like, yeah, this just came down, but I'm going to get this ounce today, and then I might not see y'all for a couple months, but this is the only place I come to. So these are, you know, I think that's a really cool thing. I'm all for home grows. Honestly, I'm all for as much as you can grow at home. If you can do zucchinis, you can do cantaloupe, you can do fruits, vegetables, and flowers. Awesome. If you only want to do weed, awesome. But I'm all for home growing, man. And it's just sad to see this. It kind of feels like overreach.
It's a big overreach. The fact that we can only flower 3 plants at a time legally base level in Colorado limits us to 3 plants, basically. I mean, why are you gonna grow 15 plants if only 3 of them you can flower legally? Like, obviously, if you're gonna flower all of them, then that's a different story. But legally, you can only flower 3. So, and that has not changed at all. That law has been in effect since day effing one, which is another problem. But listen, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's the way Colorado is, and I'm okay with that too. But I don't think, the one thing that I think people are starting to realize, and it's something I realized because I haven't grown the the cannabis that I have right now that's curing has been curing for 6 months, and that's when I harvested. And I haven't put nothing back in the dirt since then. I just haven't felt like growing. It's just I got a little burnt because I've grown a lot of cannabis since 2000, and none of it comes close to good chemistry cannabis. And we discussed why that is. I can't pheno hunt. We talked about that. I can grow. I can go hit my limit, but I can't flower any of them. So how the hell am I going to know if they're high performing? You know what I mean? So there's a little bit of a problem there. I tell you what, though, it's going to be tough for anybody trying to learn how to grow cannabis, and that's really what's ticking me off about this, because there's some folks right now that 21, 22 years old that are like maybe starting to learn about it or have noticed since they were young, and maybe I can start growing that. Well, you can. And you've got to really, really get lucky. If you're only going to throw 3 seeds and pop 3 seeds, the chances of you getting a dispensary quality plant out of those 3 seeds are absolutely insane. So against you, because it's, first of all, where'd you get the seed? I got it from a distributor. Of course, I got it from Seedsman. Seedsman got it from Barney's Farm, got it from all these other genetic places. But do we know really? Is that where they got them from? I mean, we can't trace those.
Yeah, because you can track right now currently in a dispensary from seed to, or what do they call it, from seed, soil,
seed to harvest, yeah,
or whatever, it can all. But yeah, seeds, that brings up a whole nother thing, like what Amari brought up. Like, okay, I bought a low seed, but this is a high seed, and guess which one it is. You know what I mean?
Listen, we are, if nothing, super productive in trying to find ways to skirt laws for cannabis. It's been that way since the beginning of cannabis laws. So that goes for everything, but more so with cannabis, we will adapt and we will find a way. But the thing is we've already kind of been spoiled with the dispensary build, especially folks who are living in legal states. So that we don't know if it impacts that could be a problem. Right now, it feels like it's just going to impact home growers. But what if a dispensary is not getting their seeds from a reputable place right now? What if they are getting it from a place overseas that they are not supposed to be getting it from, and then after September, they're going to not be able to get a hold of their seeds? That's a problem, man.
I agree. And now that you say that could lead to a scenario where you stop seeing some of the variety, some of the exotic strains that come through, because it's not all American made. Canada's got a much more robust market than we do, and because it's nationwide. So I imagine we'd be losing out on a lot of different new breed or new strains that will be coming up.
Yeah, I'm hoping like Good Chem or any other grow had learned this information in September of last year and started saying, okay, now we start breeding. Now we start getting ourselves a stockpile of the plants that we want to grow for the future and keep these in a safe space. And then, so now you've got them, because we just learned, if you are in possession of seeds, it does not matter. You're good. So hopefully, and obviously I understand Good Chem's probably got a plan for all this, but other dispensaries too, I would hope that their breeders are like, oh shit, we don't know what's going to happen. I need to get 100 of these. I need 100 of these, 100 of these, so that we can start breeding these. You got to start getting regular seeds. If you have feminized seeds, and there's a lot of gray area in there that's a little weird.
Yeah.
And I can't see any dispensary being okay with this, because it seems like it just limits their access to, like you said, genetics, Amari, which is the backbone of what we're doing this for.
It's only so many times you can smoke Blue Dream.
Yeah. Hey, thanks to everybody watching from my page, Cultivating with the Cannabis Cowboy. I really, really appreciate it. Thanks for coming in and watching. Yeah, I didn't want to use the clickbait, but listen, cannabis is seeds are a form of cannabis, and they are going to be illegal. So yes, the answer is yes. It's going to be illegal. I don't know what we can do other than just buy them up as much as we can. It's going to be weird to see what the cannabis industry is after that. But the other part is that the industry in Denver has kind of already been crumbling.
Your brother was on here episode 1.
Yeah,
telling us about it, bro. I was like, what?
I don't know that making these seeds, unless of course, like you just said, Omari, the dude that walks in that says, hey man, I've got something curing right now, so you won't see me in a few months, won't be able to say that anymore, at least not with the same frequency. So this could be a boost for dispensaries too. We don't know. I mean, what do you think about that?
I think it could be a boost in that aspect. I also think it could be a boost, like you said, with the breeding. If they get on it, which I know, like good money. I think they'll be good and be able to weather the storm and just pivot to selling those seeds to people who would be seeking them out. So then you'd be able to connect the two, and they'd be good money. But yeah, it's going to get real interesting, man. It's going to get real interesting.
Yeah.
Is there like a general place, Bob, like where people go, like, there's Reddit and these other sites that people go and talk cannabis seeds and things like that? Facebook, or I don't know.
I'm sure there are. I mean, when I first started getting from Seedsman in 2020, it was brand new to me. I was terrified. I thought I was buying from Spain, but it turned out they actually had a satellite office in Boulder. So I was freaking out, like, dude, I'm not sending you cash money to Spain, dude. It's not going to happen. They're like, trust us, bro. It's in Boulder. I was like, oh, so they send you okay, cool. We're good now.
They know right where you're at. They're specifically put there for a reason, huh?
It's actually the only time I ever used Bitcoin in my entire life was I turned my money to Bitcoin so that I could buy these cannabis seeds from overseas, because I didn't want to buy them in America. I wanted to go to the Dutch breeders. I wanted to go to all the places that have been doing it a long time. The people who invented white rhino. I wanted to go to all those guys, Barney's Farm, like Barney Seeds, all that stuff. I needed to get it from them. So that's why I did what I did. I don't know. It's gonna be weird, because you're gonna be even more so at the mercy of only one person to get your seeds. And I guess if you've got a dispensary that kicks ass like GC, Good Chem, and they start selling their seeds, then yeah, guys, I'm gonna buy them for sure. Like, I'm gonna roll the dice. If I roll the dice on something, at least if I got a chance of getting that cannabis, I'm good. I don't have a chance of getting that cannabis anywhere else. So if I'm getting seeds directly from Good Chem, the breeders, forget about it. I'll buy packs all day long, knowing I still have a shitload. But yeah, I think the soil industry, the lighting industry, all these other things that are attached to all this are gonna feel something from this, and that really sucks.
Yeah, profit margins getting ready to go down, like the soil, all the gardening, the lighting, and things. Yeah, I didn't think about that, because that's where all the home growers are going to go buy. They're going to look up on YouTube, how do you grow your own cannabis? What equipment do I need? Sound like an educational series on Bob's channel launching some, I don't know, maybe September or something like that. I mean, because we're like on episode 4, and I know we got maybe 7 more episodes, but by the time we're done with this show, we'll be learning, like, okay, who, what, when, and where again, what we're talking about.
Yeah, well, by then we'll definitely know what the heck this whole thing's done. I mean, yeah, it's the really thing that's worrying about me is that I just don't hear enough people talking about this. It's almost like everyone's like, I got this, but you know what? You don't got this, because once those seeds run out that you got, how are you going to re-up on those? And it's a future thing, because if Northern Lights and Skunk #1 were old school in 2020, what the hell are they going to be in 5 years? You know what I mean? Like, the chances of anyone finding those strains, that's really
what was that? Huh?
Right. Yeah. And really, I'm finding that these current 20 somethings don't necessarily care so much about old school strains, lineage. They're not attaching Blue Dream to Blueberry in 1978 or any shit like that. Like, so that's not really that important. But it was to our generation and generations, before us, because we were kind of championing that whole make it legal thing. And then we were also the underground kings of all the grows and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'm really bummed out for some guy who's like, you know what, man, I want to try and grow, but now we're trying to fast track him. We're going to force him to buy a whole bunch of equipment right now and seeds, and maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
Well, I still got some hope, man. I'm going to be 100% honest. I think the first time I saw a grow was inside of a house that there was no furniture in. And, 5 bedrooms, 0 residents.
Indoor garden.
Situation, just plants and all that. That might end up coming back some. You might see some of that. You might see some people get creative now, and this might encourage some people to take on breeding on their own, you know what I mean? And so this could give some good aspects, but I don't think it's a net positive. Still think it's a net negative. I don't like this.
It's a little too
it just smells like let's control the seeds so the guys with the money and all the access control the market.
That's right.
Sums up to me.
Yeah. BG, is this pushing your interest to grow any further?
No, my message today will be to veterans. Hell, and that's why I'm asking y'all where to go. I might go try to buy me some seeds until, you know what I mean. I might try to hoard me up some seeds and put them in the cupboard somewhere, because it seems like, if that were to happen, and let's just say 5 years down the road, and like you happen to be a guy who had seeds from 10 years before all this shit started, then you might have a gold mine sitting on your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And pay attention to the fact too, folks out there, that there's a couple different kinds of seeds you can buy. You can buy a regular cannabis seed, which is not a male or a female until you pop it in the ground and find out whether it is or isn't. And there are feminized seeds that are guaranteed to be females. So those feminized seeds actually might be going away simply because people are going to be buying those things out. They're going to want to skip that breeding process. But the folks who are trying to breed and future breed are going to be buying regular seeds because they're going to get a male and a female and they're going to breed those. I haven't started breeding, and now this is definitely going to make me probably not want to, if I'm being honest. Just I might just start focusing on actually getting some of those strains grown that I haven't been able to grow, because I bought too many seeds. I'm not going to be able to grow all my plants in my lifetime. It's just too many damn seeds I have. But
well, I'm glad we're doing this show today, because it's going to allow me. I'm up for renewal on my card, and when I go back into my home dispensary and be like, I got some questions. Like, all right, I want to start growing. You got some seeds.
Do you have plants, plant count attached to that, BG? Do you know how many plants you can grow?
I think it's up to 6, maybe. I don't know. I think you said 3 for down there. It's like 3, 5 or something like that. Okay. But yeah, I got big questions when I go in now. It's a perfect way. So maybe, by the next episode, 2 episodes by now, I could give y'all some feedback here. So if you're a veteran in a medically certified state, thinking about getting your card, go get it. Not only will you save, on taxes, that's the biggest part, where now my car is out. I'm like having to pay taxes. I don't like having to pay taxes, especially on the general use, the containers that you buy with the general use sticker. It's 0 taxes for, the medical card holders. But yeah, I got some questions when I'm like, hey, where do I get some seeds at? Who do I go see about a lot of seeds?
Yeah.
How much are the seeds? How many seeds can I get?
Some, and I'll tell you, and just those are good questions. You can actually buy only one. You can waste a whole shitload of time and just buy one seed if you want. It's going to be $20 probably right now, or 18 or something like that. If that's the case, then when
I renew this year, and then if that goes in effect in September, when it comes back time to renew next year, could be a whole different conversation based on, the things that happen over a 12-month period.
Whew, man. Yeah. I'm just glad we're talking about this. I just wish we had somebody that was in the law that could be the fourth person so that we can ask him these damn questions.
Somebody going to share this video today. Somebody going to tag this. Somebody going to say something in passing. Water cooler talk. Go back. Man, I seen some Cowboy fans. They talking about some with the seeds. Oh, what? Yeah, I heard about that. You know how, bad news travels. And if you're watching this today or know somebody in the industry, man, we'd love to have y'all send this to them and get them on here so we can hear some other folks'. Not to discredit any of these 2 gentlemen, as they provided a lot of guidance here today, both being in the good chemistry industry, but also one being a cultivator, one being there. I think you've been there, Amari, almost a decade?
Yep.
If I'm not wrong. So great information, especially for somebody me that doesn't grow, about to go in and renew my card. I've got questions. So if you're going in and you're going to get your card, ask these questions too, because it's important. Not only can you save money at the counter, but if you want to grow, these are good things to know. Invite those folks on here, man, so we can put our heads together and figure out what's the next step.
Yeah, man. Tell a grower to tell a grower, because I like Bob said, a lot of people aren't talking about this at all. And it sucks that this is going to become illegal. Somebody's probably doing perfectly normal today. This time next year could be trafficking. That's not okay.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah. That's a big word too, man, attached to a seed. For God's sake, it's funny because they just said as a government that this seed is not cannabis yet. So therefore it can't. It's like charging a baby for a crime they haven't committed yet. Yeah. It don't make any sense.
So in non-legal states, you could get arrested for possession still of the flower. And then potentially you could get hit with trafficking if you have the seeds too.
Well, the trafficking part would be only if they caught you getting it from the mail from another country or outside of the state or something like that. And I don't think possession of seeds is going to be the issue. It's going to be those folks like me, unfortunately, not anymore, but like 6 years ago when I was trying to get, it was freaky too. I wish I could show you how we did it. The law was already in effect where it was okay to buy seeds, and the distributors where I was getting my seeds from were still having to ship them taped into like toys You know what I mean? Like it wasn't just a bag of seeds. That's not how they came. They would be inside like a photo album or like a really cheap toy. They had to hide it in there from customs because customs would still snag all of them.
Oh, wow.
So I have a whole bunch of unboxing videos way early on my channel that you could look at. I'll show you the creative different ways.
So you got a whole bunch of toys and a whole bunch of photos from albums of people you don't even know, huh?
Yeah, I did at one point, and I think only one of them. I think one of those videos got pulled down, but that's because I was saying the C word during 2020, and that was a big red flag for the videos back in the day. So they pulled it, but yeah, they were.
Cannabis?
I was having to get those seeds shipped to me in very weird items, and it was just it's super crazy. Yeah, and
I remember when you was talking about it, I was like, man, you're like really buying seeds from overseas. I was like, man, this dude knows what he's doing. Like who knows that? You know what I mean? So if you're just catching wind of this today, and like we said, share this with somebody. You know what I mean? We got a guy here that should be talking about it right here. What you got, Bob?
I got some Barney's Farm Purple Punch. These are from Auto Flowers as well. Humboldt Seed Organization, super reputable. This is just a bag of some of the seeds I bought over the years. I just kept them so that I could take pictures of them for the grow videos and stuff. But it was, let me tell you, as a collector, these things were so amazing to get in the mail. So, I mean, they were called souvenirs still, even though it was fully legal to buy them. And that's what was blowing me away about all this. And there's something really card collecting and childhood attached to having these things. I don't know how to say it. The fact that people are going to be robbed of that experience, I think, is really starting to bum me out, man. Oh, look at this. This was because of good chemistry.
Blueberry muffin. Hey.
Let me tell you, I was like, this is the most delicious tasting cannabis I've ever tasted in my freaking life. I'm going to have to try and take a shot at growing it. And I did, and I got attacked by spider mites. I had to pull the whole thing down. Oh, yeah, damn. I don't know how it happened. I think it was because of the hay I was using as top cover, and they didn't show up until flowering, and it really, really destroyed me. But I grew them. I just didn't get them to harvest. But yeah, that whole thing about being able to select your seeds and wait for them to come in, and going back to what you were saying earlier, you asked how we can track them or anything. The only thing I could find online was a couple places that you go to complain about companies. I forgot what the name of this main place is, but it's a website that complains about other websites basically. And the seed companies in 2020 were getting absolutely screwed over by customers because it was taking so long for them to get their seeds. We would wait sometimes a month and a half just to get a batch of seeds. And if you didn't order automatically, you'd have to wait another. And that was eventually going down. Now it's just super easy to get them. I mean, I was getting them in 48 hours in some instances at the end of all that. Once they started realizing, hey, seeds were legal, it's not actually cannabis. I was getting them so fast from the seed companies. It was definitely fun. I learned a lot about strains throughout all that. So the educational portion of all this is going to be cut off a lot, with the fact that we can't get any seeds coming in from.
Speaking of which, there's a comment. I don't know if we answered that already on YouTube down there. It says, so where's a place to get good seeds trying to grow for the first time?
Yeah, I threw that up right here. Okay, you can just go to hit up seedsman.com, go to the American side of it. There's a UK side as well.
Great question. Again,
it was weird to see just in that 3-year period, like the stuff I was starting to get was just disappearing. Romulan, like Great Kush, a bunch of stuff that I was looking for that just started disappearing. So I can't imagine they're available now. I'm sure you can get cookies though. I'm sure you can get ice cream cake.
Oh, I still miss the Gorilla Glue that was super present around 2017, 2016. It was like stinky, sticky, earthy, and sweet. It was so nice, but you don't see it no more.
Because nobody cared about it, man.
Gorilla Glue in a minute. Yeah, I haven't seen no Gorilla Glue in a minute.
You know, we're gonna find it. Because everything is so hybridized, you're going to find it in the lineage of some of the stuff that you smoke. But to find just GG is really hard. I have GG from 3 different breeders right now because it was one of those that I was like crazy about. G13 as well. There's just a few where I was like, I'm going to keep these because these are really, really good. And even if I don't get a really, really strong version of it, it's going to bake me. It's going to do what I want it to do. So yeah, the whole experience of the seed thing is going to be pulled from underneath a lot of folks, and that's a big bummer to me. it almost feels like there's this. We want to think that they're trying to kill the black market, but this isn't going to make the black market any worse.
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, where do the black market folks get their seeds from?
If they're breeding already, they got seeds.
Well,
or they're cloning.
Those of us that don't know.
Breeding.
Right.
Yeah. If you got a black market person,
so you just need to know somebody in the black market, and you ain't got to worry about trafficking and all that regulation and all of that.
Yeah. And matter of fact, I don't even think unless you're in a non-legal state, I don't think that somebody with a handful of seeds can't sell it to somebody directly in front of law enforcement. That's not illegal. Within the states is totally fine. But what people don't understand, because they haven't tried to do this yet, is that most of the reputable companies are not in America. I specifically avoid American breeders, and it's really shitty that I have to say that. It's simply because I don't trust them.
I was going to say, why? Yeah, exactly. Why? What happened?
I think it was and again, it's 6 years ago. I said to myself, am I going to buy seeds from this company who's been around a year, or am I going to try and get seeds from this company that's been around for 30 years, has been doing it for a long, long time? So I picked the old school dudes out of the country because that was just what I grew up learning about. I knew I was wrong now because there are some ridiculously good breeders within America, and I could have been doing it the whole damn time. But again, it's a live and learn thing, because those folks that were selling within America and breeding within America were probably tired of getting it from overseas, and we're trying to figure out how to distribute it within America so that we could have good old American seeds. But again, most of the cannabis we smoke, the lineage it didn't start in America. It started outside of America. So to me, it just made sense for me to buy outside of America, because you'd think that they knew what they were doing. And the Dutch really, really took pride in their breeding and stuff like that. So being able to get the old school white rhino, just anything that you can't find anymore, that was really my goal. And I'm glad I did it. So anybody who decided to take my advice back in 2020, if you went out and started growing a collection, you're going to really pretty be happy, very soon, because folks, it's going to get real hard to get any seeds that you know about. You're going to have to take chances on some of the local seeds, I think, which, hey, live and learn.
Know better, do better. And that's why we have this show here every week, man. It's been, especially as a fly on the wall. Like, we were in the green room before we got on, Bob. It's like, you're like, hold that question till the show. No, I got a lot of questions. You know what I mean? Especially because now I'm getting ready to renew my card. So, and I want to go in and ask a lot of these questions to my home dispensary here at Clear Choice Cannabis in Tacoma, Washington. Where I get my card. I got my card there last year, get it renewed here again this year. And, I'm going to have these, I want to know from a Washington boots on ground level, I'll bring that back here and be able to share with y'all. It's a learn as we go type of deal. And like Bob didn't know any better, but as he knew better, he did better. And now we're all doing better.
Yeah, Omar, I'd love for you to find out exactly what you guys are planning on doing with this information. I'm pretty sure your growers are gonna be like, dude, we got a plan, because honestly, yeah, they're probably like, yeah, we got this. Don't worry about it. We learned about it a long time ago. But again, it's not something that the public per se needs to worry about, because if you're not a home grower, this does not have anything to do with you unless you are buying at black market. And dude down the street might start having a problem getting genetics if he doesn't already have
The only thing that got me thinking was like, are y'all familiar with the event, the Cannabis Cup?
Yes.
It's kind of like the High Times Cup, but in Barcelona, Spain. And weed's not legal there. It's decriminalized in Barcelona, but it's not legal for the entire country. But they're able to throw one of the world's biggest cannabis festivals. It's kind of nuts, because there was companies out here advertising like, yeah, our live resin won best in the world at the Cannabis Cup. It's like, wait, that's illegal. How did you?
It's like strain competition. Is that what it is? The Cannabis?
Man, it's everything. To my understanding, companies that do concentrates will take their products out there. You'll have people take.
They're like trying to see who can smoke like the most in a certain period or something like that. They got awards and things like that, or is that just
more so best in class?
Yeah,
best in class.
Yeah, the
That's
quality.
interesting. I never knew that. I learn something new every week, man.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So I'm like, if they could get that stuff there, I feel like the black market might not struggle as much as we think. Years ahead.
Yeah, I mean, because listen, we've got limited knowledge about the angles of this right now. We're not in government, so there could be somebody who's been in law that could be like, dude, how could you not think about this? And bring 10 things up, be like, oh, that makes freaking sense. But as of right now, all it looks like is a restriction to cannabis growers. Period. End of story. If you're somebody who hasn't started getting a genetics collection put together, please do it right now. Go to seedsman.com. Go to whoever you want to go to. Get it from within the states. It doesn't matter. If you know somebody that's got them, get them. That's what my thing says now. Stack those seeds now, because that's what you need to do. And that's just a smart thing to do regardless. I mean,
yeah, I'm finna go to my dispensary and be like, where do I get some seeds? How do I buy a lot of seeds? How much can I buy at one time?
I would hope the person who is presenting you also with your medical card, you would think that they would have that knowledge too, where maybe they can give you some clear knowledge about the whole thing too.
Well, part of that is I got to talk to my doctor, which is, the folks that got to renew the card. So of course I'm going to ask them a bunch of questions too. And then when I go in to get the card, actually, at the ground level, and see if that matches up and see if there's any new nuances there. But if not, try to get the whole thing, and then we can come back here and I'll, hopefully over the next couple of weeks, I have that information.
Yeah. It's gonna. It's so weird. I don't want to say that I'm unprepared for this episode, because I did a lot of research on it, but it's just, because I have so many seeds, the fact that I'm panicked right now with the amount of seeds I already have shows you how much I feel for the folks that might be affected by this, just because they couldn't get their hands on it, man. And it's already a scary enough thing, especially if your state is brand new legal, and then you're of age, so you can start growing. But then they're going to be like, wait a minute, you're a drug grower? You know what I mean? There's a lot of weird shit that comes with being a grower, and this is just going to scare folks away, I think, from doing it. And whether that's on purpose or not, I don't know. I can only go with patterns, and from what I've seen from the pattern of our current leadership role, it's right on par with us not making money and them making money. So I don't know where that's going to happen or how that's going to happen, but I'm hoping no more freaking laws get touched, man. For God's sake, just leave cannabis alone for a little bit. Let's just ride the year out with what we've got, and then let's talk about some laws next year, man. Damn.
Yeah, I'm gonna do some research, because I think, like I said, once they pass that for the study and the everything we talked about here last week, I believe. Yeah. Have to go back at it and take a look at it again and try to see, did anything change, things along those types of lines.
Oh, man. Real quick, I just wanted to say, Penny Pebble Ripplers, I said that right the second time. Hoku, they mentioned Hoku is a Washington State excellent breeder. You might want to check them out, bro. That's probably a good suggestion. Also, that smoke out on the monument sounds dope.
Yeah, learning all kind of new stuff here today.
Smoke out on the monument. And so that's a good point. It's like, I don't know.
That's Washington State?
Even Denver, before it was legal, that park that was every 420, that thing was flooded. So, I think everywhere. when I was living in Austin, forget it. The festivals were gigantic. And you will never fear the hand of law enforcement like you do in Texas. And it was still very open, and the cops just didn't care, because that's what cannabis is. Now, if you had an alcohol festival, I bet you there'd be more cops. If you had a crack
because then everybody smoking ain't gonna be chill, and hey, you want something to eat?
Exactly,
what I mean? All right, peace out, have a good day. No scrapping. Doing like Knicks fans was doing Spurs fans after they lost last night.
Oh, Lordy.
Yikes. Hey, man, I just want to say Austin, Texas is one of the best places to get the munchies at in America. I tell you what, walking down 6th Street, you're like, man, I'm hungry. That's one of the best moments you can have, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw something at you real quick. I was the head of security for a couple of the most violent nightclubs out there in the early 2000s, 2001 through 2004. Roxy, Inferno, Logan's, a bunch of different places. And there was a place next to one of the places I work called Hoax Pizza. And if 6th Street, there's at least 2 or 3 on 6th Street that you could just walk right up to the window, order a slice of pizza, and give it to you. But the problem with that is everybody that comes out of the club at 2 a.m. is plastered out of their mind, and they're eating pizza and they're throwing it up all over the streets. So as someone who worked in the industry for years, I don't think I ate a slice of pizza for almost a decade.
Damn.
Because the smell of it reminded me of people throwing up. And
the
it
aroma.
was so prevalent. And I'm not just talking about one dude. I'm talking about everyone that pounded 2 slices of pizza after 12 shots of vodka. Like, yeah. So yeah, 6th Street's a great place. And I'll tell you the other thing in the early 2000s when I was out there 98 to about 2004, 2005. The first place I ever had real authentic street tacos, real authentic like Mexican food, and the Tex-Mex. Yeah, forget it. That place is crazy. But the laws are hardcore. And, you know, if I wasn't friends with who I was friends with, I would have been in big, big trouble in my life. But most of the time, you feel that presence of law enforcement. And we were still having great 420 festivals because that's what cannabis folks do. And, you know, so I mean, we've always been peaceful people, and we've found crafty ways to get around antiquated laws. And I think we'll do it again here. And not try and turn it into a felony of any kind, but maybe that just makes people breed more within the United States. Maybe that just makes more people say, hey, let's just start growing within the country now so that we don't have to go outside to get our seeds. So
that's right. And to add to that, just a little another dose of optimism. You know, we've panicked a little bit, but let's kind of swing the other way. You know, maybe now that researching will be allowed, that there is going to be some cannabis research. Maybe we can have more genetics being bred on the basis of terpenes, on the basis of cannabinoids, on the basis of making certain effects pronounced to make sure that people are getting their ailments actually, you know, alleviated. That would be awesome. That in a perfect world, maybe that's what this kind of leads to. It's more of that movement, and we just kind of slingshot ahead so the next generations, I don't know, have more of a consistent and anticipated experience every time. So just throwing it out there as maybe glass half full, that could be something that comes of this, because I feel like overreach is often met with resilience, and I don't think this will be any different.
Yeah, he done got a new nickname, baby. Omari with the optimism. I like that. I like that. A little balance here on the show. Yeah, we did panic a little bit, but it's always good to have a little optimism, because yes, maybe the pendulum could swing in the other way. Who knows? Look, things change around here daily, right?
If we can figure it out, if growers can figure it out, then a scientist is definitely going to learn about the entourage effect and say, wait a minute, why are we struggling to grow 30% THC plants when THC is not the metric that we're going to be measuring this effect by? If they're doing research, they're going to find that shit out. So hopefully they're going to be able to say, oh, damn, look at this. This myrcene thing is really actually pretty awesome when you combine it with THC. You know, like, I'm hoping. So to add on to your optimism, that would be great if they were like, all right, look, let's start now promoting this entourage effect thing and get these numbers back down again. And maybe Bob can stay up past 7 o'clock. I don't know.
That'd be nice. But I mean,
it goes off on the podcast, Bob.
But listen, folks, I'm glad we got together to talk about this. And Omari, thank you so much for coming by. Yes. Before we go, do you know of any new strains that are popping up for you folks? I don't know if you can get that information out, but
yeah, there's a couple strains. Listen, right now, I really said I love kiwi sour, but some of the strains to keep your eyes out for is going to be like Bulletproof, ZOZ, and a few others that's going to be coming through. I've gotten a chance to try a few of these, and I'm just telling y'all, they are fantastic. Good lookers, good smokers, and a great flavor.
Oh, damn.
Bulletproof, man. You had me at Bulletproof. I'm like, I ain't never heard of that.
For real.
Yeah.
It's funny because that, you know, and I say this every time I'm at that South Broadway location. I tell the folks, I'm like, you know what, you used to have A, B, and C, and I'm like, but y'all have D, E, and F, and damn, it's so good, man. Like, it's so, and it just keeps happening. There's all these new strains coming out, so that's really, it's one thing to be consistent and be good, but it's another thing to be consistent and still basically operate like you guys are operating and going through new strains and trying to find better performing strains and all this other stuff. So anything that comes out of Good Cam, I'm smoking. It doesn't even matter. I'm all the sativas now too, so I'm hitting the whole menu.
Let's go.
Yeah, buddy. So Omari, thank you so much for coming by. We don't know what's going to happen. Yeah, man, we don't know what's going to happen, but we'll wait and see. I'd like for you to talk to the folks out in the grow out there though, and maybe get to me on a personal level and say, hey man, I just talked to my guys. They said this is what they're going to do. So I can feel a little bit better for everybody. I don't have to panic so much.
Perfect. Well, I'll be getting that back to you soon.
Nice,
and
man.
Bob, BG is awesome as always. And everybody, much love, y'all.
Yeah, dude, for real. Thanks so much for YouTube coming and hanging out. BG, anything you want to say before we take off, dude?
Nah, man. Omari with the optimism, baby. I see what we're doing here. This is an ongoing discussion. So make sure you come back, circle back, spin the block next Wednesday, 4 p.m. on Pacific Standard Time, and get some more new information, because I'm learning everything. I'm learning new stuff every show, baby. Let's go.
Oh man, for
Let's
real.
go.
All right, folks. As always, keep growing. We're going to see you next week, Wednesday, 7 o'clock Eastern. Have a great night.